Are you over 40 and you're trying to figure out, do you really want to date and how to date after 40? If you're single, let's talk about it. Hey ladies, how are you? Before we get into our conversation today, we have to address what's going on with your girl. For those of you who are listening, your girl has cut her hair off. I am bald. Yes, I am bald. I cut my hair on Friday, and believe it or not, my hair is growing back. It's been 3 days. So Friday, early Friday morning. So it was all day Friday. My hair was cut. We counting the whole day. I had got up. I was off. Let's tell you the story. I was off on Friday. I was going to go away for the weekend, but plans changed due to the climate that we're in right now. And I woke up at like 7 o'clock, normal time that I would normally get up, and I took the clippers and cut it again. If you remember, for those of you who watch me on YouTube, I said that I was going to cut my hair again. I pretty much let my fade grow out so it could be even all over. And then I wound up trimming it down just kind of really, really low. And then I went back in and I cut it. So I already knew I was going to cut my hair. I just didn't know when, right? So I did that. So I cut my hair about maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish. Got that out the way. Put the video up. Got all that done. And here we are, Sunday. And your girl has, pricklies in her head. Like, prickly. So I know by next week, it'll be probably just dark. I mean, you can kind of see, I guess you can, I don't know, but your girl is bald. No, it's something I want to do. Nothing's going on. You know, I've been asked, is everything okay? Are you good? You need to talk? No, I need to talk. Talk about getting me some new clippers. That's what you talk to me about. Getting me some head oil for my head. That's what we can talk about. That's what we can talk about. But not for nothing. I am loving it. I am liking it. And I feel fresh. I have not yet put on any makeup. So I just been, out here just barefacing it, giving the feels, giving the vibes, and showing these shoulders on this good old fall day that we got going on here. And yeah, I'm just enjoying it. It feels good. Let me tell you something. Last night when I was asleep, I gotta give you guys an update on my hormone, my little pills I've been taking. But nevertheless, last night I was sleeping, and you know how if you're going through like perimenopause and menopause and you on the pillow and it's kind of warm on this side and you flip over to the cool side, baby, the way my body temperature went down so quickly because the head was cool, it was a breath of fresh air. I was like, you mean tell me cutting my hair off is going to be a survival tip for me? Yes, but I know it's not, because we already saw the meme of the lady who had the bald head and she had steam coming from her head. But I will tell you, last night was definitely a really good sleep. I didn't have a scarf on my head. I didn't put a do-rag on my head. Because I'm still kind of used to always getting me a do-rag and just putting it on. But it felt good. I didn't have to do that. So yeah, your girl is bald now. I'm loving it. It feels good. I look good. I feel fresh. Not that I didn't feel fresh before, but I just feel like a different, I don't know. It's just something. My mother said, wow, I can really see your face. I'm like, Ma, yes, you're going to see my face. But I guess she meant like, I can really see your features. I can really see you for you versus it being like your hair or anything else. I can really see how you actually like look, So I thought that was cool. So nevertheless, but I want to talk about dating. I have a good story for you. So hold tight. This is going to be a good one. Get your beverage, because your girl going to be spilling some tea about a little dating episode that I had. But we not going to let that be the blueprint, but I definitely want to share it because it's a lot going on out in these streets. Okay, let's get into it. So first off, I want to just put this out here. Let's normalize the nerves that you get when you're dating, over 40. Put all your past heartbreaks back there and open the door to new possibilities. Let me tell you something. I know social media can definitely put a grinder in everything. And then sometimes being out and about can put a grinder in everything. You feel like there's no good men out there, or if it's a man watching, there's no good women out there. But they are. I used to really, really think that, all men are horrible. All men cheat. Now, do majority do that? Absolutely. But it's like a needle in the haystack. And when you have a bunch of good women out here looking for good men, yes, it's going to be hard. Or wanting good men to find them, it will be hard. And the same goes for men. You always have more trash than you have good. So it's a process. So I recently had a conversation with a girlfriend of mine talking about how I want to get back into the dating world, you know. And somebody, the other one of my friends said to me, so you want to cut your hair off, and now you want to date. Look, let me tell you something. It takes a strong individual to deal with me, even if I had hair. If I had hair, wigs, extensions, braids, my natural hair, my fade, it still takes a strong individual to deal with me. Not that I'm complicated. I'm not complicated, but it does take a strong individual. That's just that. You know what I mean? That's just that. It's a good thing, but that's just that. But I'm thinking about getting back out there, you know, dating and being. Well, I am open. I don't want to say being open to it. I'm open to it now to get back out there and actually date and not let my past hinder my future and things like that. Have I been out on dates throughout the years? You know, yes. My last relationship, like serious relationship, was back in like 2020, like during the pandemic, and that ended like 2021. But have I been out on dates and things like that and met people? Absolutely, but nothing concrete, serious to where it's like, you know, it's locked and loaded and we about to, you know, all the things. You guys know how that go. I'm thinking about, you know what, dating with intentions and things like that. We're there. We will see. Let me not put the carrots before the buggy, as they say, right? So let's let go of the dating myths as if it's too late. All the good ones are taken. Because I do feel like that's something that I've always said, something that, you know, I probably recently said probably last week. You know, I'm just being transparent. But I do feel like it's never too late for anything. Anything can happen in life. Do people have experiences? Do people, nobody, if you're dating in this age, everybody has something. If it's baggage, issues, problems, or whatever. And then when you're young, you don't have any experiences. You don't have nothing. You don't know how to navigate through life. You know, so when something do arise, it's just like whatever. I'm not talking about the people that want to date younger, anything like that. That's what you want to do. Go ahead. For me personally, I would rather somebody my age or a tad bit older. You know, I tend to lean towards older in my realm of dating. And even in like my relationships, I always tend to go just a tad bit older. I think I might have dated a few with that was like my age, but it's always like they're just older. So you know how that go. It's not too late. You can always get yourself out there when you're ready. If you are single, it's for my single ladies. I got something coming for my married women soon, because we're just gonna talk about that just in general. I want you guys to chime in and, you know, share your stuff, but not yet. So we also want to, you know, reclaiming joy in dating. You know, sometimes we think about all of this 50-50 business. You know, you paying for the dates, who's making the date, who's doing the date. Like, let go of all of that. I'm not saying you make the date if you're the woman, or you make the date if you're the man. Take all of the expectations out of it. Sometimes we get so caught up, if he ain't got this right, and he ain't doing this, I'm not dating. Let's take it out. And if even for the woman, even for the man, if she don't what the second date, if she ain't paying, or the third date she ain't paying, no. Just take it out. Just reclaim joy and let it just flow natural. So here's a few things. You know, date with curiosity versus desperation. Like, the first person you go out with is like the person. Like, oh, he's my person. I'm going to just pick him and we're going to settle down. I'm going to pick her and settle down. No. Be curious, be free, just be dating, you know, enjoy yourself being in someone's company, and vice versa. So I don't want this just to be for, you know, I know we're talking to us Black women, and I know we're talking to women, but I do want to put the men in it if a man happens to come across, or if someone is dating, they have somebody apart, they want somebody to see the video, to let them know that there are women out here who don't just think like this. You think about the broader picture of it. And just be curious about the person. Be curious about the whole scenario. How does this dating situation makes you feel? Are you happy? Do you feel anxious? Is it giving you like those butterflies? Sometimes butterflies don't mean he's the one. Butterflies can be a defense mechanism. Okay? But don't be dating with desperation. Date with curiosity. Be open to have good conversation. Let that person, open up your mind palette to different things, and you do the same for them. Do something different than you normally would do, and don't do what you might see on social media. You might see somebody else doing, oh, I want to do that too with my significant. No, make your own experiences. Okay. And then building standards and boundaries without walls. So for me, I'm going to tell on myself, getting hurt like young and getting hurt at an older age, it hit different. It really hits different. It kind of hit the same, but it's like, damn, even at this age, you still going through the petty nonsense. It's like nobody don't grow up. But it's like, I do understand that sometimes women can be a little bit more poised. Sometimes men can take a little longer. And that's even in young guys. The young guys take a little bit long to develop. And girls can be a little bit more, advanced. I remember there was a study, not even a study, it was recent, it was on TV, about they took a group of 10 young boys from the ages of like, I think 8 and 10, and then the same thing for the girls. The boys pretty much trashed the house, and the little girls, they did chores, they had systems, they all took turns. It was just different how women, but you know what? As you grow up, little girls are, kind of taught to like, do chores and things like that. Why I brought that up, I don't know. Let's get that out of here. But next thing you know, building standards, having some non-negotiables, don't just date any person. If you see that the person is not for you, then don't do it. I know for me, I made a big mistake. I never forget I had met this guy and my standards were like up here. And I knew he could not do anything for me but just say good morning, right? And I never forget, one of my girlfriends had said to me, two of my girlfriends had said to me, Kelly, you got to remember, a lot of men may not be where you are. So meet them where they are. And sometimes you got to pour into somebody and they will, they'll rise up, lack of better words. I did that. I knew if I got with this man, I knew this. I liked him though. I'm not going to lie. I did like him. I did a lot of good things for him. And if I knew if we got together, he couldn't even pay my light bill. I knew that man could not keep my household or our household. If we were to have merged, he could not have done everything. I knew that. I knew that. And even as we dated, I knew he did not have the ambition in him to even want to go further and to try to not do it for us, but do it for himself. So that's when I started seeing the red flags. But then you get into that mindset like, well, everybody may not have it. And that's semi-pick me, wanting to be with somebody just to be with somebody. I'm telling on myself. Then when I sat back and realized, I said, Kelly, it ain't worth it. I'll never forget when we actually broke up, because he wound up cheating on me too. We actually broke up. And I said, why would you treat me like that? And he said to me, I ain't asked you. I said, why would you, wait, let me get it right. I said, why would you do that to me? Treat me like that, knowing how good I was to you. He said, I ain't never asked you to do those things. And I'm like, ooh. He didn't. But the flip side, he never stopped me. So I was like, you know what? You just unleashed something really big inside of me. Because I'm thinking you just treat people nice and you just, you're in a relationship, you help them, they help you. But girl, set boundaries. I have boundaries now, but I don't have my wall up to where I won't let nobody in. So what I'm saying is set boundaries, but don't put a wall up. Have standards. And if you do meet someone, have your non-negotiables, as they will have as well. But if it's all good, accept it, and accept it within reason. Don't just rush. I'm not saying there's ain't no thing called love at first sight. Things happen. We have stories in this world. But I feel like at this tender age that we are, like we 20, right? At this age that we are, I feel like we don't need to rush and jump. Because at the end of the day, if you're meeting a nice gentleman or a woman, everybody don't date men, they might date women. So in saying that, even at this tender age, you still take it slow. Because I know for me, I'm accomplished. I hope the person I meet is accomplished. And I hope that you can bring it together. You know what I mean? Take your time. 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 But I want to go back to dating with curiosity. Now I'm going to tell on myself. This is a little story time, so I'm going to sit back for a minute because we just want to talk a little bit. So my birthday was June 23rd, which is couple of months back. And my cousin had took me to a comedy show. I'm not sure for those of you who live in the Raleigh-Durham area, it was a comedy place called Good Nights. They moved their location. They're in Cameron Village now. So brand new location. I've been there one time before, but I haven't been there in a while. So my cousin has come in for my birthday. It was her birthday present to me to a comedy show. Samore was in town. So, always a good time when Samore was in town. And she had two comics with her. They were good. And she had a host. Amazing. The show was amazing because we giggled, we had drinks, we had food. It was such a good time. We're leaving out. I went to the restroom first, then I'm leaving out. I get to the top of the steps because it's like underground. So I get to the top of the steps and we go out. So my cousin had knew some people that were outside. We took their pictures for them, group of ladies, taking pictures. So I'm standing on the side minding my business. So we getting ready to walk off now. I'm about to walk to my car. Meanwhile, she kind of parked close to the door. I parked kind of a ways down. We walking our separate ways. This man comes outside and he runs after me. Do you hear me? Runs after me. So when he finally gets to me and my cousin, we still kind of with each other, but she turned around like, "Are you okay, sir?" He was like, oh, I am so sorry. You ladies walk so fast. He said, I would love to, he said, I think both of you are beautiful. He said, but I would love to get to know you, talking to me. And I said, okay. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? Let me be open-minded, Kelly. This man done ran to you. Apparently he liked what he saw. Let me give it a go. We standing there. My cousin wound up meeting somebody else that she knew outside. So she's on the side just talking. So I said, let me talk to this gentleman for a little bit. 6'3", older man. He was 57. I want you to remember all these things I'm telling you. Listen to this. 57, older man. Good job. Not that those things are what I want him to have that for himself. Okay, this is what I want for himself. So we're talking. He's like, I know you're getting ready to go, but I want to take you out. He said, I don't know when you're free. He said, but I just want to get your number so I can just take you out. My birthday was the next day, right? My cousin took me out there for my birthday. Next day. I ain't dating nobody. I don't have anybody. I ain't doing nothing. I'm going to take myself out anyway. So I said, take me out tomorrow. He was like, tomorrow? He was like, yes. I mean, this man was excited. And for me to put him on the spot for the next day, he was elated. I gave him my phone number. Right there in front of me, he texted me his name. And he even sent a picture, so I knew it was him. Everything was fine. He said, let me know when you get home. He said, I know I just met you. He said, but I really want to make sure you got home safe. Let me know your cousin got home safe. All the things. I said, okay. So I text him back. I said, just want you to know I got home safe and I do appreciate it. And I said, I appreciate you wanting to take me out tomorrow. So he said, I did tell him it was my birthday, but he forgot. But later on that night, he said, I'm sorry for texting you. He said, I really want to plan this date for tomorrow. I thought I hit jackpot. I said, this man want to plan a date? I just met him tonight and he's letting me know that he's planning the date tonight because you can make a reservation, through the apps and stuff. So he asked me, where did I want to go? And I said, well, you take the lead and you plan a date. Where would you want to take me? The woman that you met that you were excited about, where would you want to take me? He was like, oh. I'm good. He said, I got it. He said, I want to give you 3 choices though. He said, I just want to let you know what I'm looking at. So he gave me Jay Alexander. He gave me Ruth Chris, which y'all do not, guys know I love me a good Ruth Chris moment. And he gave me, it was a restaurant, like a seafood restaurant that was like in Durham somewhere. So he's not from Durham. Let me get that straight. I guess he would say he's from Durham, but the story gets juicier. Just remember Durham. He went in a restaurant in Durham. So I said to him, you pick the restaurant. Those are all great restaurants. I said, I've been to them all. I said, but you pick them. I said, you pick one. And I said, I'll be fine. So he picked J. Alexander. For those of you who may know J. Alexander restaurant, I can't even get it out. Really cute restaurant. For a first date, I'll take it. I don't need nothing too extravagant. So I said, okay, we went to J. Alexander. He offered to pick me up. I told him no, I would meet him there. I met him there. I got there first, and he came maybe about 3 to 5 minutes later. He pulled up behind me. We walked in together. He had the reservation. We sat there. We started our date at 4:30. We did not stop talking until 9, and we left out of there. Amazing conversation. No repeats, steady going, me getting to know him, what he does for a living, what I do for a living, kids. He was married before. He told me he was divorced for 4 years. Remember that, people. Remember Durham and remember 4 years being divorced, okay? Everything went well. So he was like, is today really your birthday? I said, yes. So I showed him my driving license, right? Well, I showed him I always carry my old driving license because it's not expired yet with my old address. So I showed it to him. And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe you let me take you out. I'm so honored. And I said, okay. So he said, woman, I gotta go to the restroom. He goes to the restroom. I'm not thinking nothing of it. He goes, they come back with a cake. They singing to me, champagne. We're having a ball. This man is like having a ball. I said, I know what he's trying to do, but you know what? It ain't happening. So we having a good time. Everything's over with. He walked me to my car. He texted me later on that evening, letting me know that, we had a good evening and he's appreciate going out with me. He would love to take me out over the weekend. So we went out on a Wednesday. My birthday fell on a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. And I met him on a Sunday. Yeah. So that next following weekend, 2 days later, he has to take me out. I went out with this man 4 weekends in a row. Every date we went on was amazing. But let me tell you something. Something in my gut just wasn't sitting right. And not that I was looking for anything. That's why I said, don't date with desperation, date with curiosity, and let things just unfold. So me and this man, we would take pictures together. He'd be behind me and we snapping and we just having a good time. First date, the first date was at J. Alexander. The next date, we went to this really nice glass house in Morrisville out here. It's called the Glass House. Then we wound up going to Zinc House. For those of you who know, Zinc House is a nice winery out in Durham. Went there. Third date, we wound up going to this Japanese restaurant. We had ramen. We had all kind of stuff. It was just It was just so cute. Nice, quaint, cozy, dim light. Really, really nice. That was in Durham. Keep remembering Durham, okay? Then we wound up going to Bonefish, which was our last and final date. We went to Bonefish and we wound up going to this nice little it was like a bar style restaurant, but more so bar-y, where you could go like get drinks. They had like a pool table. But it was really, really nice. It was like a more of a, say you lived in that neighborhood and you just wanted to go have a drink. That's how it was. But it was really nice. Okay. So all these, we went on 4 dates. On the last date, he said to me, what did this Negro say to me? Something about dating, and he has spent over $1,000 dating me for the last 4 weeks, and he's ready, he's ready to settle down. He's ready to try to, see what's going on. And he didn't say settle down. Just get to know me a little bit better. Because after our dates, we kind of like went our own separate ways. And I think he wanted me to kind of like, come back to his place and kind of like, elevate the situation a little bit more. Y'all, I wound up going out with one of my girlfriends. And she had one of her girlfriends. And so one thing about me, I don't mind going out with people, meeting new people and things like that. I went out with this woman. Well, I went out with a girlfriend of mine and she had her girlfriend there. We all just going out, just trying a new restaurant. And the lady wanted to talk to me about social media because she wanted to get into it. Not the one that my girlfriend, her girlfriend. So that's how we all got together. So we just sitting there talking. Let me tell you something. The universe will make it happen. So he was like, she said, well, do you date? I said, it's something you mentioned. I said, I haven't been dating for a while, but I happened to meet a gentleman about 4 weeks ago. We've been just going out on dates, having a good time. And yeah, I said, man, let me show you him, Because one thing about me, I ain't got a problem with showing a picture of a man I'm dating because I be wanting to know. I ain't got time. I don't have time. So I showed the woman the picture, right? I showed her the picture of him and I. She was like, that man's married. That's my friend's husband. I said, what? I said, no, let me show you a better picture. So I showed her all the 4 dates that we went. We took pictures every time we went out. This man took me out 4 different times. We took a picture 4 different times. I said, took me out on my birthday. So I showed her the picture that I posted even on my social of me blowing out a little cupcake or whatever that cake that they gave me. That man took the picture. So I was showing her. She was like, hold on a second. So then she gets her phone out. She said, this is my girlfriend. She said, better yet, let me show you her Instagram. At the time, she did not have a picture of him on her Instagram. So she showed me a picture of them at a gathering and he was in the picture. Do y'all follow me? So I said, okay. I said, well, let me tell you something. I said, she has nothing to worry about. I said, so I had begun to tell her how we had met and whatnot. And she was like, oh my God. And she was just kind of shocked. I said, well, look, you have nothing to worry about. This will get ended. I said, this is how things happen. I said, I'm so happy this happened because before I would have got knee deep in with this man, me thinking I'm dating him. Meanwhile, he's married. And this is that scenario where there's more single people, there's more married people in the single pot. However that saying go. There's more married men acting single. Something like that. I don't know. But so after us having an outing with me and the ladies and find out that this gentleman was married, him and I wound up speaking. I didn't call him or anything like that. I just was like, this thing can just die off. I'm not giving him no explanation. I'm just going to walk off. So him and I wound up speaking. He called me. hey, beautiful, hey, gorgeous, da, 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 da. You know how they do. So I said to him, I said, is something you want to tell me? He was like, no, what's going on? I said, why would you approach me, take me out on 4 dates, 4 amazing dates, have such an amazing conversation with me, and you are married? You told me you were divorced for 4 years and you are married. I said, and I got embarrassed. I went out with one of my girlfriends. She had one of her girlfriends there, and we were talking about our dating lives. And I showed a picture of the man that I met and possibly start dating. And here it goes. You are married to her soror. The woman is the AKA. So now he's like, I'm sorry, I apologize. I thought if I told you the truth, you wouldn't want to go out with me. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I wouldn't have went out with you. I said, but you're married. You told me that you were divorced for 4 years. He said, well, I really can't have a conversation right here, right now. But can we talk a little bit later? I said, no need to talk. You are married. Go ahead and live your life. I'm done. It was nice meeting you. Thank you for the dates, but do not deceive another woman like this. I let it go. We ain't talking no more. And I meant to block him, but I didn't block, right? Because I got the phone, I thought it was all good. Do you know, I want to say about 4 hours later, he texted me. I guess one thing, he was a respectful guy. He was definitely a gentleman. He was definitely, a pick, And he wasn't nasty or anything. He sent me a long text message. So I'm not going to say verbatim, but it entailed him telling me that he had filed for divorce back in 2019 and 2020. And it's been over 4 years, but he's been living a separate life. That's why he lives in Durham. You must remember Durham? Because we were always in Durham. And he said that his wife, now he's calling her wife, but before he was calling his ex-wife. He said, my wife still has the marital home. I said, well, you got the marital, you be there too. So I ain't say it to him, but I'm like, he said, we did not get a divorce due to personal reasons, and she would not tell her sorority, he didn't say soror, her sorority sister that. Right now, we're trying to get some things ironed out, and we just can't get divorced right now. But it's been 4 years since we lived separate. I'm just reading. Then he goes on to send me the divorce documents dated from 2019. Like, that's supposed to make me feel better. In the state of North Carolina, if you want to have a divorce, you have to be legally separated, living in 2 separate quarters for a year. And after that, your divorce can be final, as long as there's no reconciliation in between. It is now 2025, and your divorce is not final. Brother, move on. Move on. So, that ended. The reason why I share this story is it's a twofold. Don't date with desperation, because if you were desperate and you got yourself caught out there, if I would have been desperate, I would have dated this man, got caught up with him, thinking he was going to leave his wife and be with me. You know what I mean? Out of desperation. He's not leaving his wife. He just want his cake and eat it too. She's not leaving him because, I don't know her, but I know she don't think he's out here cheating. Who would think that? Who would think their husband is out here cheating? But you send me divorce papers that you filed as the petitioner. She was as the plaintiff and defendant. Yeah. You was the one. Granted, he showed me, what he said, the reason why he wanted to get a divorce, things like that, how they put in the paperwork. But that was 2019. So I never responded back to him. I never said anything. I just walked away. And I always said I was going to have this conversation because I want women to know, date. Even though it ended, in a horrible way of it being a married man, I still had fun. I still dated with curiosity, but also I did not date with desperation. So I did not get myself caught up in anything. But it just lets you know to be mindful, and when you're out here dating, to let things unfold. Mine took about 4 weeks because I sit back and think, this man never gave me any signs that he could possibly be married, because we talked in the evenings, we talked, we had open communication. So I was just kind of curious. He even offered to, like, me working from home, like, come work with him, like when he works from home, and we can, like, have our computers and stuff. And if we had got, further on, like, spend the weekend together. I mean, like, he was talking the talk. Ladies, you know. But in saying all of that, enjoy the process and protect your peace. And I just gave you an example of enjoying the process and protecting your peace. Do it. Every man is not raggedy. And sometimes men, they get hurt too. And they have their defenses up as well. So when they see that your defenses are down and vice versa, everybody can kind of be a little bit more loose, And I felt like with me, I was definitely very loose. My walls weren't up. I had boundaries. I wasn't desperate, but yet everything unfolded. You're going to meet some pickles in there. You're going to meet some pickles, but some of us, we will meet the right one at the right time. If it's meant. But also in this whole process, love yourself first. Love yourself first. I feel like when you pour into yourself and you exude this love, people can see that. People can see the confidence, they see it all, and then they want to be a part of it. They can't take it all, and they can't take it. When you start seeing people wanting to drain you, swat them away. Swat them away. We ain't doing that. But love yourself. And when you love yourself, you become a magnet to healthy love. And I'm coming to realize that, in my 20s, I was a mess. Bad decisions, okay? Because that's what was available to me. That's what I saw. That's what I grew up around. And one of my girlfriends told me, don't ever be hard on yourself for how you dated when you was in your 20s and 30s. We date what's around us. So whatever's 10 blocks around, 10-mile radius around, that's what we have. So don't get mad at what you did. You just know better and you move on, and that's it. But in saying all of that, I want everybody to be hopeful. If you want to date, just have good spirits. And when you have good spirits, good things will come to you. And let me know how you guys feel about long distance relationships. Knowing the lifestyle that I live right now, I would not have a problem with a long distance relationship. I know some people don't like long distance relationships, but they feel like, those are prone for things to happen because you know what they say. We ain't got to get too in depth with that. But the lifestyle that I live right now and how I am, I don't need the constant person in my life. If I was in my 20s and my 30s, absolutely. Absolutely. And probably even my early 40s. Absolutely. But now where I am, I'm so secure. It's like, hey, if something is meant, it will be. And if something's meant to be shown to me, it will be shown to me. And that's how I've been living my life when it comes to dating so far. I think things changed for me, I want to say, during the pandemic. Things changed for me. I know the pandemic was definitely hard for so many people. We lost so many lives, but I feel like for me, it opened my eye up to so many things. It opened a lot of things about myself and how I was as a woman in all areas of my life, not just dating. So, in saying that, let me know in the comments if you are out here trying to date and you are single. That's important. You are single, and let me know some of your good stories, war stories. If you met someone, in your 40s or in later life after 40s, and things worked out better because maybe your mindset was different, and so forth and so on. So in saying that, thank you, ladies. Thank you. This was an amazing conversation. I enjoyed it. I hope you did. If you did, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on the streaming platforms. In addition, let another Black woman know about this conversation. I'll catch you in the next one.